Good evening and welcome to stream 55. We have made it to number 55 and I like 55. That's my number. So we're going to do something a little bit different tonight, guys. And Growler's in the house with me as always. He's always here, as you know. And hopefully he's right there on board just to say a quick hello as we go through. But he might not be yet.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
He's there.
Yeah,
How are you?
Good, mate. How are you? How are you, sis?
Good.
That's good.
So we're going to do something a little bit different tonight, guys, because we don't really have any good news to report from over this side of the plane. So it's just gotten worse. But Growler will be filling you in on a few things after we have a little bit of a we're going to take a little trip today, first off, to Salt Lake City. So I've got something a little bit different, and I thought we'd mix it up a bit because, like I just said, things have just got worse here, not better, and I'm sick of concentrating on all the bad news. I completely am just not doing that anymore and going back into research, as we just need to keep learning. We can't concentrate on all these bad things that are happening. We need to try and keep our brains active and occupy and redeem the days.
Yep.
And I think my live chat's frozen here. My whole thing's frozen, so I can't see the chat. And I'm going to turn this off and on. Would you like to say hello while you do that, sweetie? I'm going to turn this off and on.
Okay. No worries. Yeah, no, I'd like to thank Michael Joshua Lewis. Thanks, mate. I think he might be in Sydney or Melbourne. Forgot
Sydney.
Actually. Sydney. Okay, then. If you can let us know what's happening there in the western suburbs and compared to the eastern suburbs, that'd be good. Justine DeVoe, thank you, Justine. Great to have you in. Eric Dunaway, thanks for coming in, Eric. You're awesome. Bill Stegman, good on you, Stegs. Thanks for everything you do here, mate. Shane Barber, our awesome brother Shane Barber, is in the house. Rayetta Lee, thank you so much for coming in. And the greatest mod in the world, Anne Walsworth, is in the house. Thank you, Anne. We love you very much, mate. You're very precious to us, and don't forget that. Tammy, thanks, Tammy. You are great. Thank you for coming in. And Tricia, and our awesome sister down in Melbourne, or I think Latrobe Valley. I think you're in. Fudgy. Big hugs to you, Fudge. We love you very much. And there was Sam BH. That's right, BH. Thanks for coming in. Davey313 from Hawaii. Great to have you in as usual, sister. We love you. Ryan Huttman. Sounds quite German. It's got a 1930s ring to it. No, I'm joking. Great to have you in, Ryan. Thanks, mate. And DJ, thanks for coming in. And Dwayne Glauer. Dwayne, you're a legend, mate. You're a top brother, and we love you heaps. And Joanne Herring, of course. Thank you so much, Joanne, and Dedra Higgins, and the lovely Vincent 52, and Data Junkie as well. Great to have you in, Data Junkie.
Chicago's in the house. Vincent's here. We've got what is it? Coranda in the house from up North Queensland. We've got Texas in the house, Arizona. We have Hawaii. We have Melbourne. We have Sydney. We have Canada. We have. I'm looking at who's in, so I know where you guys live. A lot of you. And look, I just think everybody's here. This is awesome. Guys, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit nervous because I've never done anything like this, and I don't want to stuff it up, okay? And I have mentioned a few things in past live streams where I've given you guys hints, and Growler has too, both of us, as into some things we've been looking into on the side away from all this yuckiness that's going on, okay?
Yeah.
So, and we really want to keep the channel. We do want to keep the channel for you guys. Otherwise, I'd fight the good fight and talk about that all day. But I think it's more important for our little walk here, mine and Growlers, is to actually help edify, build up. It builds us up as we try to help others, so everybody wins. So I think by doing other things on the channel now, we're going to protect it from collapsing, and it's going to all give us another focus. We can all go back and get what we want out of that horrible stuff somewhere else, but I think that we can spend our time more constructively. There's a new word. Constructively. No, constructively. I just made a new
say
word.
things backwards anyway.
See?
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Okay, now I'm a little bit nervous to present it, but we're going to give it a shot, and then Grell is going to come on and he's going to share with you guys as well, as usual. So, Beck, are you freaking out over there? Chris, hello, mate. I was looking at your photo yesterday, and Jade goes, "Oh, geez, he's good looking, isn't he?" She did. I don't know if she's listening, but I hope her husband's not. But it was quite
by the
funny.
Way, Zoe's in the house too.
Yeah, I know. Look, hello everyone, and I will talk to you guys as it goes along, one at a time, rather than trying to just go hi everybody and not talk. But Chris, are we freaking out? No, mate. Yeshua's in control. No, I'm not freaking out. That's why I'm focusing my attentions in other places, because I don't want to give any more energy to this beast. It's devouring its way through the land as it is. So why do I want to give it any of my energy, which you find you sleep better, everything's better when you just get away from it. It's just like television. It's such a lie. Once you turn it off is only the point where you can see how much of a lie it is. While it's on, you're just in the lie. You're like the frog in the water. You just don't feel the water heating up. You don't see the lies being perpetrated. So today I wanted to take us all on a little trip to Salt Lake City, Utah, which I'm sure most of my friends in the chat here, a lot of you have probably already even been there, because you guys are lucky enough to live in that grand country of yours over there, which is magnificent, by the way. You're lucky. And with Australia, it's a completely different story. So with Salt Lake City, what I wanted to do was a little bit of the history of it. And so I wanted to start with what the population was when they got there. We're just going to do a few common sense things. We're just going to put some numbers together and just do a little bit of basic maths, and just to figure out what we've been presented with compared to what we can actually see by the statistics that they've given us. So, Messi, if you want to pull up the first one for me. So we would like to thank Messi Gentleman. Everybody, please give him a big hello and much love. He's doing so good. We're so proud of him. He's
the engine room.
He's the engine room. Without him, this doesn't go. So we've got, this is the Salt Lake City history. So just a little bit, I'm just going to skim through this today, guys. What I'm going to do today is actually, because we're doing something totally different, I'm going to give you a bit of food for thought. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not surmising anything. I'm presenting you with facts. And I want you to put your critical thinking helmets on and listen to what's being presented. And this is how we find the truth, as we all know, through our biblical cosmology. So it's just another layer that we're going to explore of the depths of the manipulation by the controllers to silence the truth. And because if we knew the real truth, it would be very different. We would be sitting in a position of authority in who we are in Christ, and not this, whatever this is, where we're all one. You know, it's every man for themselves. There's no help. So Salt Lake City was founded in 1847 by a group of Mormons Now, I can tell you there was 148 of these people. Oh, here it says it here. 148 was the number. 143 men, 3 women, and 2 children. Now, what I have to say is the women must have been very, very, very busy, considering considering that in 3 short years from this period that we're now talking about, the population of Salt Lake City was 6,157. Now, yes, you can include some people coming in that weren't of these people, but the numbers are staggering, to say the least. So even if you took that down, if you have 3 women, they can only be pregnant, give birth every 9 months, and you do the numbers there quickly, and you see that that's just doesn't add up at all. So the Mormons went to Salt Lake City. Just a very quick, brief rundown for those of you that don't know. And by 1848, they did say that they brought more immigrants in to help with, there was droughts and frosts and plagues of crickets, nearly destroyed their crops. Now, that was in 1848, so that was just the next year, okay? Now, we have a slide entitled Did You Know, which is the next one, Missy. I shouldn't call it a slide. It's the next video is Did You Know? So we're just going to have a little look at that, because this sort of brings in, I'm trying to give you guys a picture like Growler does. Sometimes you've got to start at very, very beginning to be able to get your point across to be seen in a bigger picture. Okay, so if you just go up a little bit. Now, here we go. Did you know that in 1850, which was, as I just said, 3 years after they came to Salt Lake City, the population had grew from 148 to 6,157. In 1880, that increased to 31, so 32,000. In 1910, there was 131,426 people. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have lived in towns with 131,000 residents. I know I have. I've lived in towns of such population. And when you're spread out, it isn't really a great deal of people. But my question is that I posed to everybody and wanted to point out was our first, next slide there, Messi, our next one I sent you, please, is in 1850, we have a building that was completed. So we're talking 3 years again, 3 years after the first Mormons arrived in Salt Lake City. There was nothing there. It was bare. And in 1850, we have the Temple Square. Now, I don't know if any of you been to the Temple Square. If you have, please put it in the chat. I would love to know. But this is the Temple Square. This was completed 3 years after the first Mormons reached Salt Lake City. Yes, 3 years. What a beauty. Just scroll up there, Missy. What a piece of grandeur. Look at it. Would you? Look at the craftsmanship. This was certainly also some sort of technology. Just the technology is amazing. But this was completed in 3 years. And in 3 years, the population had only grown to 6,000 people. I've also lived in a town of about 3,000 people in a small area, and it's not a lot of people. Yet these men with horse and cart built these structures. But this is just one of many. The Temple Square is one of many. I wanted to also take you to a place called the Saltair Pavilion. Now, Saltair was built by the Mormons, as a place, a resort, if you will, for the Church of Latter-day Saints. And they thought it was a good thing at the time. The main thing behind it was that the young people could go and court there and not be judged, okay, and not be judged. So this was in 1893. This was a mere 46 years after they came to Salt Lake City. We have Saltair. Looks more like a World's Fair, looks like technology on the top. The domes always represented technology. Lost. Going off of the firmament, somehow transmitting, receiving what has been transmitted back from the firmament would be my guess. But that's just a theory. Now, Saltair was built in 1893, so 46 years after they colonised Salt Lake City. And it's on the south shore of the Great Salt Lake. Now, they said there is as many as 2,000 posts and pilings, many which are still visible after 110 years. So this place that was built on the lake 46 years after they got to Salt Lake is very extraordinary feat indeed. Very extraordinary. And if we could go to the next one there, please, Messi. Oh, this is what I was talking about now. Hang on. If you go over to the right and click on the picture at the right, does that open anything up for you? Yes, I just wanted to see. Right, this is what I was talking about. Thank you. Excuse me, guys. So this is Saltair today. Notice the domes on the top, which this looks nothing like what it was. I think the whole thing, well, it was the very first Saltair was destroyed by fire in 1925. It was, and 21 years later, 21 years after it was sold by the Mormons, it was ravaged by fire. And this is not the original structure. So could you go to the next one there, please, Messi? So that's the new Saltair, Saltair 2. That's just a map of where it is, and we got 2 more to go. We got babies awake in the house. There we go. So here's a little bit of a bigger picture for you. So just magnificent. Now, it's like a World's Fair on the water. But it was a resort for the Mormons, they tell us. And it took them 46 years to build this with horse and cart. So there are a few more photos to go yet. Could we keep going there? That one's a little bit older. That's actually in the 1900s. And here's old mate at his grand concert, 1919. Already got shining new uniforms. They look more like people that have inherited this to me. This is the old stairs from Saltair 2. So Saltair 2 was built just after the fire, so 1926. So they are the original stairs from Saltair 2, not Saltair 1. Keep going, and we're going to get to Saltair 1 in a second. Here you have it. Magnificent. What a beauty, hey, Growler? What a beauty.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
It's
Yep.
Now, people of this time, they really do look like shags in the water. I mean,
hey, don't forget the donkey and carts.
Yeah, well, they may as well have been donkeys because they were certainly no Pegasus, were they?
No.
Okay.
How could you build that without,
Yeah, I know. We're just presenting information here, but just that's the architecture, the grandeur of this. There's another photo there that's actually a picture. Next one, Messi, please. Which is no, it's not on this one. Okay, no worries. They're No, there was a very, very old picture of Saltair that when it was all painted, but it was actually wasn't a picture so much as a painting, so it didn't really matter. But there it is on the right there. Just go down. Yes, see there again. Is that the same picture? Yes. So just a magnificent feat to have done that. But more so was the Temple Square, because the Temple Square was done in 3 years. So this is the narrative that you've been presented with your whole life. Now, I've taken Growler into Ipswich just here, which, yes, we have an Ipswich, same as
Yep.
the UK has Ipswich.
Mm.
And it was one of the founding towns in Queensland. So they say it was nearly going to be the capital of Australia before Canberra. That was the choice, but yeah, glad that didn't happen. So it's just across the road here. We've got two distinct ziggurats, pyramids. We have Mud Flood City, where the buildings have been dug out, and you can drive down and you can see where they've dug them out and what's underneath, but you cannot see how far they go. The thing about Saltair, though, here is it is what you see. I don't believe there's anything under there. But what a feat for this time period. What people need to understand is what we've been presented with, what the truth is, and it totally changes a lot of things. And Chris and I have been talking about this. Chris Growler and I talked about this for like an hour one day. Now, our time, what this means is our timeline is not what they've told us. It is definitely not. The history of the United States of America is a perfect example, and even so, it is exactly the same here. They've fed us the same narrative that this country was discovered in 1788, and that these buildings of this time period that are in Sydney and Melbourne, that you can go to any of those clips, guys, where they're showing the protests and that, just go and have a look at the architecture in the background. It is exactly the same as the United States. It's the same as Turkey. It's the same as parts of Japan, and the whole scope had the same people. But if you go back through the history books, there honestly definitely appears to be a time in our history where everybody was at peace. Now, maps in the day were more than maps. They used to tell a story. So it wasn't just for a navigational purpose. It was actually to tell the people, also give them an idea of what they were going into. And if you can research some of the old maps in your time, you will find that it told a story of a lot of peace over the earth, where there was peace and harmony. Now, Saltair here, this building, does this look like this was a people of complete chaos and disorganisation like we've become? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It appears there was some sort of harmony going on here to be able to create such a place, doesn't it? And not to mention, now there are buildings back then that I believe were not created by good hands, fashioned by the good side. But I believe a lot of what we're seeing, it's not pre-flood, so to speak, or if it's not, is it? And if it is, that means our timeline is nothing what we've been told. If a lot of these buildings were dug out of the mud because of a flood, the only flood that we all know of, that was worldwide, which these buildings all display the same symptoms, let's call them, then it was worldwide. Now, the only thing that we have in recorded scriptural history or any recorded history was of one worldwide flood, not two. So people say a mud flood as such, but a great flood would have caused that catastrophe. So were these buildings not Saltair? Let's just go back to where we were with the Temple Square, because the Temple Square is 3 stories underneath it as well. It goes under the ground, which proves, because that was supposed to have gone up in 3 years, well, that proves that particular building, that's no way. That's impossible. They'd moved to no dirt. What, they just built on top and they ended up with that? No, it's just all about looking at it through in as real as it is, as simple as it seems. That is what it is. And the lie upon lie, just like the layer upon layer, line upon line, precept upon precept, that we've been given throughout the whole of this journey. Now, this is just one side of it, and I don't know how many of you have looked into the history of what I believe we've inherited, or they, whoever they are before us, our grandparents, our let's say maybe our great-grandparents, because how do we know that they know their memories were right? We don't know what happened back there. We know there was another pandemic in 1918, and we know there was a lot of orphans in the 20s to the 50s. Many. Now, my guess would be that the parents were gone. They were done away with. And that they had all these child slaves then. I want to be careful not to do anything wrong here. And I'm giving you guys just a really quick breakdown today of what we've been discovering, as I said, looking in another direction. But if you really try to start to sink your teeth into this stuff, it changes everything again. It is just like learning about biblical cosmology, but it's something different. It just exposes more of the truth that's been hidden under this layer of sediment, whatever it is. Now, I've shown you the giant trees. I've shown you the mountain ranges that were giant trees. So the lie of geology goes very deep. So why wouldn't we think that we've been lied to about our architecture? And of course we had. Now, we looked into St. Paul's Basilica, didn't we, Growler? And they said it was built in 1290, what was it? 1290, whatever, 2 6s and the 3. But
1,290 days as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what it was. So that there's a lot of discrepancies on that timeline that I've been looking into. The timeline where they've put the St. Peter's Basilica to have been erected doesn't. It fits in with the Middle Ages, what they call the Dark Ages. Now, this is why I think they're calling them the Dark Ages. There was a cataclysm, a great cataclysm, and it was only 250 to 300 years ago. And these people who seem to have inherited the world, or did they, or were they the survivors, or I do not know, but the only thing this would mean to me is that we're in a very short time of Satan's end. And that is what it is all pointing to. I'll just cut it dry really quickly because I don't want to go on and on about it today. But I'm going to bring you this stuff again. I'll bring you something else next week about this, but I really wanted just to present the evidence. My point of view is my point of view, and I never try to make anybody believe what I think. I really learnt my lesson doing that when I was a very new, let's call it, flat earther, which I'm not a flat earther. I'm an enclosed system person. Look at this. Look at that. And also these cities, they're grids. Now, how do they know in these days when they couldn't fly planes, they couldn't do anything? And you go back and you look at the grid patterns of the historic Antiquitech buildings. They're all in some sort of formation for a ley line, a grid pattern, a circuit board on the earth, if you will. and they must have all played a part somewhere. So it's now look, this is the street here. If you look at this closely, that's compacted mud. So they've got that layer off. Now, if you look at these buildings, these buildings go very deep down under there. These buildings, you're only seeing the top. I'm not surmising this. I'm not making it up. It is what it is. So everything you see there is just the top layer, which just goes to show you that they could not have built this with it. They didn't go down first. So there's your number one lie. But the mud, I didn't want to go into any mud details too much today, but as you guys, if you're looking at your screen, you can see that this is a compacted dirt road. And we have electricity poles here. So we're looking at, 1920 oh no, there's no cars at all. Yeah, it might be pre-1920 here. There's no date on this one, but you're only seeing the tops of those buildings. So if we had one flood and it was worldwide and these buildings are covered worldwide, that's just a very interesting thought to leave you all with today. And I think I just wanted to, just dip your toes in the water with this one, because it's your population statistic numbers do not add up. The time frames of these majestic buildings do not add up, what time that they were erected. I've got many more I could do, but I just wanted to keep it short today because Growler's going to have a chat to you now. And it's very interesting. It's very mind-bending to think about just what they've really done and how much they've hidden from us. And does anyone know the truth? Yeah, I'm not sure, because we do. We know, well, we don't know what that is, but we know that it's not what they've told us. Data junkie, we know it's not what they've told us, that's for sure. So I'm going to leave you with that and pass you guys over to Governor Growler. And thank you. I hope you all enjoyed that. Yeah, guys, I'll just say, Anne Pearson, Hangman 1128, brilliant channel, guys. Please go and show him some love. Tell him you come from us, because, I have. He's been on our channel. He's been in the chat. He's he's with the down with the giant trees and stuff. Now there's also Paul Cook, guys. Go and check out Paul Cook. But my number one choice for any sort of research like this, you need to do your own note, and he'll tell you, is John Levi. Jon Levi. John Levi. Go and show John some love. Tell him I sent you, please, because I'd love to talk to John. I really would. And the more of you that reach out to him and drop my name, he very well might even come on the show. How do we not know? But he's there's just some special group of individuals around the world, and they're all separate, and they've all found the same thing, because that was their call. I reckon that's what that was. That's their call to produce that information and that evidence to us, so all the puzzle pieces fit together in the end. Yeah. I'm going to pass it over to you, Guy.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah,
right.
No, it's thanks, sister, and we've talked about this for quite a while now. I didn't know anything about it, but I did, when I was younger, I went over to Europe, to Switzerland and Austria and Germany and those places. And I did think, I mean, how did they build this? How did they build it? And it's I mean, if you have a look at the crap they make today, you know, compared to, because I went into the castles, I went into, you know, they've got the big castles sitting up on top of the mountains. You think, how? There must be some sort of other technology that we don't know about, or I don't know, have they perfected something? I don't know. I mean, I went into them and had a look, and you know, that's why you get so many tourists going to those castles and going to all these places and all these big grandeur places, and they're all left. They're all left in total awe, because a lot of the guys just don't. A lot of the tourists are talking. You know, wow, imagine how they built it. Imagine, you know, and they still think it's horse and cart, which is quite funny. They didn't have any cars back then. So much has been scrubbed. I didn't, Beck brought it up. Beck brought it up, and then I thought, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, that really does make sense, you know, and, you know, everything that they build today falls apart, you know, and all the Chinese crap, plastic crap you buy from over from China, you know, is only how would I put it, made to last for a week, and then you've got to buy another thing. So, you know, and you sent that last John Levi video to me, and just having a look at the big, I don't know, you call them a big antenna, like spires. They're like communicating devices, and yeah, to see how it all would work. It'd run on some sort of free energy grid or something like that. But then if you have a look at the technology the military have now, I think it's a total different technology. I think they got better. They had freer technology back then, but now this is all more AI demonic tech that the military and telcos and all this sort of stuff has, blockchain and all this sort of, so it's totally different. So I think that technology wise, it's, in one way, it's gotten a lot more technical, but how they did things back then just blew anything what we can do that we see away. So I think we've entered a new phase. Because the phase back then was a lot more had a, I wouldn't know how to, different technology now and different technology back then. Most of it back then was totally different, running on a separate system, and now some sort of other system. They're basically building us for crap, and, you know, the military and top civilian banking systems, all that sort of thing is running on their tech, you know. And as we've said, you know, what they've hidden from us from 200 years ago, and some big event happening there, it goes to show, because we basically went back to the Stone Age from 200 years ago and had to build up to where we are now.
Exactly. Right.
You know,
okay.
You know, so yeah. You know, just having a look at those buildings, you think, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, something's happened. So, yeah, and she's teaching me every day, and I'm looking at it myself as well. But Beck's gone fully into this, and I think it's good for her. And she studies things very, very well, and she's taught me a lot about this. If she wouldn't have said anything about this, I wouldn't have known about it. And so good on you, mate. You are just smashing it as usual, sister.
Thanks, mate. I'm just linking
worries.
John. I'm just linking John's channel now, because I could see that people were having trouble finding it, but I'm so slow that it's taken me a little minute to do it. And oh, there it is. So, guys, go and sub to John. That'd be awesome. But there's other channels. There's I'll chuck a couple more in here that I would recommend, and there's many I wouldn't recommend. So it's like our community. We have to be careful who we watch, and with a long time comes great discernment. So yes, it doesn't take long to work out who's good and who's not anymore. That's for sure. So I will let you continue talking, and I'll just link it. Cool. I'll just link a couple more channels, guys.
Cool. I just want to say just a quick hi to John Boutakis. Thanks, mate. I think you're in Melbourne, aren't you? Let us know. Robin Middlebrook. Thank you, Robin. I see you on Aya's channel, and thanks. I hope everything's going really well for you. Southern Mercy. Great to have you in. The Bubba News, you got a strike, mate. That'll be right. You're putting too much good stuff out and they don't like it. Yars Child. Oh, good to have Yars Child in. Yars Child, good to see you in, mate, and hope everything's going well. And anyone else, and to what is it, Sister Kathleen? Yeah, thanks, Sister Kathleen, for coming in. You are awesome. Oh, yeah, John's in Melbourne. Let us know where you are, mate, because I've seen so many videos that, I mean, Melbourne's just utterly decimated. It's just a wasteland, basically, you know, just filled with strong city cops, private coppers, whatever you want to call them, mercenaries. Yeah, it's probably the way to go. Yeah, just wanted to say just a quick hi to you guys and everything like that. Now, I'm doing something a bit different, and I've covered it before, but I think it's very important for people to understand the power players and who's how the shifts in the economic sector around the world is going at the moment. I'm just going to do it just briefly. I'm not going to really go into it too much, so I'm going to do that just in a little bit. But I have read on some comments, and our beautiful sister Zoe Round has confirmed that to me. And I've got little Levi looking at me saying, "What are you doing, Uncle Growler? What are you doing?"
Is he still here?
Yeah, I'm doing a presentation, beautiful. You got to get that snot out of your nose, darling. All right.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but you don't care. That's all right. That's what it's all about. Now, it's just another layer of the onion coming, folding off the fruit. So, and as I've said before, and I have covered this before, how they've smashed the civilian sector with this pandemonic. So then people go into the military and the police, and law enforcement and military get stronger and stronger. Now, and as we know that Trump actually, well, it's been enacted for a very long time anyway, but it was really officially enacted when they called a state of emergency. Trump did. FEMA took over, and the DPA Act, the Defence Production Act, was enacted into play. And so that allows all federal agencies to take over, you know, basically the whole sector, and they use it to their own advantage. Now, if you've had a look at, let's say, the health sector, a lot of them in Australia, all around the world, you know, they don't want to eat any oranges, so you know they've actually got to, they don't have a job. So, and you know, I should have thought of this before. I didn't think hard enough. But it makes perfect sense. So I'm not sure if you people in America have seen this. I haven't seen it. I haven't gone to a hospital or anything. But the thing is, they say the National Guard's coming into hospitals now. They're flying in people from third world countries as health professionals to come in, and they would, the health sector, if you can call it that now, the health sector actually would make sure whoever they're flying in from third world countries and all this would have had to have eaten 2 oranges, if you know what I mean. So now I did hear that they're getting the NG, the National Guard, in. I'm not sure. I'm sure that they would be wearing, usual medical outfits. You know, I don't think they'll be wearing uniforms in there. I don't know. But now you can see another layer of the onion is coming apart. So now they're putting military into hospitals, and this is part of the DPA Act, as I talked to before. So you can see the control. They're going from stage to stage to stage to stage. So they're going to control the health sector now. So the military is going to be in charge of that, because I think with what's coming, they've got to contain. How would I say it? The manifestations. If you've seen the babies and you know, the black eyes, I won't say any more. You know, I think we're going to see a real snowball effect here. And I don't know, do they want to keep them in there? I don't know. It's a guessing game from day to day to see how it actually all pans out. But that means the military control what's happening in the hospital, so they don't want to let too much out. Let a little bit out, I don't know. So I just quickly want to play a video. If you just go to the first one, which actually confirms what I'm saying.
Well, Shep, many are on board, but some are still refusing. Tonight, we're in front of Bellevue Hospital. This is one of the oldest hospitals in New York City and part of the city's public health care system that says more than 90% of doctors and nurses have at least one dose and are in compliance with the state mandate that went into effect today. October 7th is the next big deadline. That is when staff at other medical facilities like home care, hospice, and adult care in New York State should receive at least that first dose. The Department of Labor says any workers who are terminated for refusing to get vaccinated are not eligible for unemployment insurance unless they have a medical exemption approved by a doctor. The CEO of New York City Health and Hospitals, the largest public health care system in the country, including Bellevue Hospital, says more than 95% of nurses and about 98% of doctors are vaccinated as of today. But about 5,000 employees out of a total of 43,000 are not vaccinated as of Monday morning.
Even today, we are not putting people on leave. If people are not vaccinated, they're not going to get paid for today. But we're keeping lines of communication open, and we're hoping that if not today, then by tomorrow, people will go and get vaccinated and resume their posts.
Northwell Health, the largest healthcare system in New York State, says they've seen nearly 100% compliance system-wide, though not everyone is happy to be a part of that statistic, and some are still refusing to get vaccinated.
We were forced to take the shot or resign. That was our choice.
And what did you choose?
I chose to get the COVID shot.
Yes.
I need my job. I'm not taking that vaccine. It's more like it's either a paycheck or my rates.
See? Got him.
New York State Governor Kathy Hochul says there are plans to bring in healthcare workers from other states, if not other countries, if there is any sort of staffing shortage. And she says she won't hesitate to issue an emergency order that would bring in help from the National Guard.
Yeah, so that's a real worrying trend, bringing in NG. I mean, they could be anyone, not even National Guard. They could be posers. I don't know. But if you know how they say, oh, there's only 5% that don't want it and all this sort of stuff. I think it's a lot more than that. I really do.
Absolutely.
It's. I reckon there's at least, I would say 40% wouldn't want it. 50%. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, you know, that would be my guess. So if you look at that, that's a lot of foreign orange juice people coming in, and military and whatever else that they want to bring in. So you know, would you actually want to go to hospital right now? No.
Oh, no.
So the thing is, if you see what the new mayor of New York that took over de Blasio's role. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw her speech about the oranges and how good it is for you because you get so much vitamin C, you know what I mean? You know, and this was at a church, mind you, nothing surprises me anyway. And, you know, she's going to pass that law to, you know, basically allow anyone in to take over that role. I'd really hate to see how really bad it is behind the scenes. We don't know, but it would be basically, yeah, you basically got a bunch of black eyes working in hospital, 100% of them. So think about that. You know, think about what they're going to turn. You know, so it's very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And so I'm not going to give out medical advice or anything like that, but I just really think that Yeshua is our only doctor. He's the only one that can heal you, and this is where your faith and prayer comes into it. It really does. I mean, if he doesn't heal you, oh, well, you know, it's that's the way it is. That's what he wants. So, you know, you've just got to deal with that. Because the funny thing is, you know, everyone's, oh yeah, I want to go to heaven. Oh, but I'm scared of dying. You know, so they're contradicting themselves here. You know, we're not advocating, you know, I want to die. You know, that's something totally different, but it's more of a spiritual thing, you know. So this is
I get
this
what
is
you're
it
saying.
is. Yeah,
it's common sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to, if there's anyone that works in healthcare on the stream, or you know someone in healthcare, you know, just keep your eyes and ears out, and you know, let us know in the comments section, and try and update us, because we rely on you guys as well, because you guys are boots on the ground. You know, we really need information from you guys, you know, as well. So, you know,
it helps.
It really helps us all, so we can understand and get a much bigger picture. Now, the next thing I'm just picking and choosing here. I'm not really going into things in depth today, but there's just a few things I want to cover, because we know that Cash is going to be dead soon and all this sort of stuff, but they're birthing a new economy, and I'm just going to show you you know, who your real power players are, and where it comes from. And I've said this in other live streams. I'm not going to go into CBDCs and NFTs and all this sort of crap. We're here too long. You guys can do your own study about that. But if you want to see who's creating this, you know, people say WEF, it's WEF, it's IMF, and yeah, it's all of them. It's all of them, but it's all about the green new economy, and we know all about the green new world, you know, and how they want to worship creation, because the Father gave Satan the earth here, and we all know this is, you know, it's known biblically. So that's what they want to do, is you worship creation, because the earth was given to Satan by God. So this is what they're trying. Oh, you know, worship Mother Earth and Gaia worship, and we've gone through this before, and so it's a cover for worshipping Satan's place. That's all it is.
Right.
That's all it is.
Brother.
Through all this birthing of the new economy, the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. If everyone's gone through Agenda 21 and to 30, they will not get up to 2030. He'll come back way before then. That's my, and I think everyone's in agreement on this. Now we all know about. You know, your massive, all your central banks, your Goldman Sachs, your Fed, the IMF, you know, and especially the central bank of central banks, was the Bank for International Settlements, which actually dictate all terms to Deutsche Bank, and the list goes on, And so we all know about the Rothschilds. We all know about them. They're Papal Knights of Malta. They're Jesuit foot soldiers. And we know who controls, because I mean, you go, I think it's in 1906. I know Wikipedia, you know, they can get things wrong and that sort of, but I've cross-referenced it with other sites, and it does back it up, that we all know that Rothschilds are the treasurers and guardians of the Vatican's treasure. Okay, because that's just the way it is. They're the Vatican's accountants, and they're extremely well off, and the Rothschilds are actually paupers compared to what the Vatican owns. So just think about that for a minute. Now there's a thing about inclusive capitalism is basically communism on crack. That's what it is, and you're really going to see it. And inclusive capitalism, like I said, is just communism rebranded. That's what it is, to make the biggers, the big's bigger and the rich are richer, while making sure that we own nothing and be happy. Which doesn't surprise me, because I hate anything of this world anyway. It doesn't, you know, so it really suits me. It doesn't worry me. You know, the less I've got, I just turn closer to Yeshua. So yeah, no, keep doing me the favour. And so if you're going, I really beg you guys to really look into this, because it will affect you. And if you do have investments, you do have real estate, and you have, cash in the bank, or you have crypto and that sort of stuff. I'm not going to tell anyone what they shouldn't have. It's up to them. It's between them and God. That's just the way it is. It's none of my business. But I would say the best investment is a full stomach. Because I mean, let's say everything crashes, all this sort of stuff. You got a bar of gold. You got a bar of gold, but someone's got a tin of baked beans. You would trade that bar of gold for a tin of baked beans to eat. Okay, so what's more precious? So you just got to weigh it up simply. Because we all know what's coming. Now, I'm just going to show you. There's a 5-minute video, but it's. Mm-hmm. It just goes to show you who's in charge, and we will go through it now, and then I will say a few things after. Thank you.
Morning, the Council for Inclusive Capitalism announcing a new partnership between the Pope, the Vatican, and business leaders across the globe. It follows a meeting just over a year ago in which Pope Francis called for the urgent need for an economic system that is fair, trustworthy, and capable of addressing the most profound challenges facing humanity. Executives are now committing to the Council's pledge to create a more sustainable and equitable system. They include Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan, Johnson & Johnson CEO Alex Gorsky, CalPERS CEO Marcy Frost, and Merck CEO Ken Frazier. And joining us right now is the founder of that council, Lynn Forster de Rothschild. Lynn, good morning to you. You are the brainchild of this idea. And I'm curious if you could even just tell us how you convinced the Vatican and the Pope to embrace capitalism. I went back and I've looked at some of the encyclicals. As you know, 5 years ago, the Pope said that capitalism was the dung of the devil. What did you do to get the Vatican on board?
Well, the Vatican has asked for concrete actions to benefit all people. And in his encyclical in 2020, the Fratelli Tutti, he talked about reconciling the world of finance and the world of work. And that is what we are doing. Pope Francis doesn't point an accusatory finger at wealth creation and capitalism. But what he wants is for the creation of wealth to aid and not destroy the planet and the people on it. So we are responding to his call to reform capitalism, to make it inclusive, to make it sustainable, to make it trusted, as well as dynamic.
So, there are people who will invariably be skeptical of, and there are skeptics of the ESG movement. I would argue this is another step in the direction of the ESG movement. But what does this partnership look like, and what do these pledges by companies look like?
So that's a great question, Andrew. And we understand the skepticism. And we are not another group of people who meet once and are done. We have 230 specific commitments that our guardians have made to inclusive capitalism that are on our website today at inclusivecapitalism.com. But more importantly than what our 23 guardians are committing to is the fact that we are asking all businesses, large and small, to go to the website, agree to our principles, and then make their own commitments. We're not prescriptive in terms of what is inclusive capitalism, but what we do believe is that it's important, if we're going to have true system change, for everyone to do what they can, to think about what the Holy Father said in the Laudato Si in 2015 when he asked us to listen to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. That's not a religious imperative, that's a moral imperative.
Freaking Luciferian girl.
Okay, so here's a philosophical question for you.
Okay.
The philosophical question is, in the world of business and the world of capitalism, there are going to be times, for example, where your company might be struggling and you might have to debate whether you are going to lay off workers or not pay out a dividend, for example. There are going to be times where there's going to be questions about whether you should have a philanthropic arm or you shouldn't. Is this supposed to be philanthropy? How should business leaders think about this?
No, this is not philanthropy at all. What it is it's business putting profit in service of people and planet, but not taking away profit. There is no indication from the Holy Father that there should not be wealth creation. And in fact, in the document called Journeying Toward Our Common Home, it specifically talks about wealth creation that helps the planet, helps the world rather than hurts it. So of course there are balances, and that's why we have boards, and that's why we have managements, and that's why we want accountability. In the council, we have asset owners and asset managers who are making commitments to hold companies to account, not for a specific end goal of what they should do in the specific situation of their company, particularly if it's in any kind of distress, but how is the company
looks related to Lauren Bacall?
Yeah.
Shepard Smith here.
Same serpent seed, huh?
Yeah.
Lauren Bacall. Is Chris in?
I don't.
Is Chris in the show?
Yeah,
I've got Chris on my screen.
Yeah,
is he?
Chris is in the chat, yeah.
Why can't I see his icon?
Okay.
I've just got him on the side. Okay. So that was one of the Rothschilds, was it?
That's right. And as you could see at the start, that they, I call them skid marks, Poops, Captain Skid Marks. So you can see that they work for him because he's the one sitting in the chair and she has to present it to him. Okay. So they are the servants of the Pope. So as you can see, the whole economy, the whole banking system, the whole private equity firms, your BlackRock, your Blackstones, your Vanguard, your military industrial complex companies, all this sort of stuff, that is where the wealth is coming. That is where the wealth is coming from. They own a lot of it. It's that simple.
Yes.
So
Lauren Bacall is a man as well. That's right, and they're probably tarred with the same seed brush here.
Yeah, well, I think Evelyn de Rothschild is actually a guy, so that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, Lauren Bacall was, so yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I really urge you guys to have a look at it, that sort of thing, and you can see how they're, along with the oranges that are coming out, you can see that they've got the oranges, now they've got the economy, and now they're putting, so it's a step phased operation. This is how they're doing it. So they're getting the oranges, I'll get that, and then it's the economy time. So it's all a phase. People think people think, oh well, the AC has to show up, all this sort of stuff. It's going to be pretty time consuming if the AC has to go around and stamp everybody with the mark. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
what I'm trying to say is it's a phased operation where they get this, they take care of this level. Okay, that's done, because with the oranges, you can see they're going to healthcare. They're doing that. They're doing all the sectors. They've got to get that done. Then they've got to go to these sectors, get all that done. So once that operation is finished, then they've got their systems in place. Then it's the economy time. So they'll crash that. And then whoever hasn't had any orange, the vitamin C or anything like that, you can't participate in the economy. So this is you know, it's a phased operation. That's how I want to say it. So it's very multi-layered and multi-structured. So, you know, it's been in progress for so long. I mean, if you have a look at World War II, you know, they brought in the fiat system, the so-called Ponzi scheme, the pyramid structures, and all this because it was designed to fail. But that was a building stone. That was a building block for what they're going to do now. So it's constantly been in operation. So I urge you guys to have a look through that, it's very interesting. It's pretty time consuming, but it all adds up. It really does. So now we're going to hear from Poopsie himself, but I'm just going to say a few things here. Now this is, see, it's the economy of Francesco. So it's the economy of Francis. So it's his economy. That's what I'm saying, because it's the Antichrist economy. And it says young economists, entrepreneurs, and change makers giving a new soul to the economy. Okay, so if we just scroll up here, so it says the effects of our actions and our decisions affect you personally. Therefore, you can't remain outside the places that are shaping the present and future. You're either part of them or history will pass you by. So what they're saying is if you don't want to join this system, you're going to be outside the system. And as you saw Evelyn D. Rothschild's with her presentation, it all sounds like they're here for the poor and all that sort of thing. Well, if they were here for the poor, there's so many millions and hundreds of millions of starving people. If you add up all the money these people have, they would be able to feed billions for millions of years. So we all know that they don't want to fix it. Okay, so it's all for them. It's all for their plan. So I'm just going to play this video here. Now it's got subtitles. He talks in Italian or some demonic tongue. No, it's Italian. As you can see, this is the head now. The head behind this, of course, is Arturo Sosa, the Black Pope. So he's really the big boss, and I'd say, of course, he's one of the biggest parts of it here, Francis. But there's always someone behind Francis. That's all I'm saying. So we'll just read the subtitle. I'll read out the subtitle. So guys, if you're listening and you can't read it because you're driving or whatever, I'll read that out to you. So we'll start it now. History teaches us that there are no systems nor crises able to completely cancel the capacity, the ingenuity and creativity that God does not cease to stir in hearts with dedication and fidelity to your people, to your present and your future. You can join others in weaving a new way of making history. Do not be afraid to get involved and to touch the soul of the cities with the gaze of Jesus. Do not be afraid to dwell courageously in conflicts and the crossroads of history, so as to anoint them with the aroma of the Beatitudes. Do not be afraid, because no one is saved alone. No one is saved alone. To you young people coming from 115 countries, I invite you to recognize that we need each other to give life to this economic culture. There you go. I mean, there you go. You cannot be saved alone. Oh, scripture actually says quite differently. I don't know. That's the way I see it. You know, you can't be saved through a monetary system or economic policies or through the world systems or anything like that, because we are told not to be part of this world, to drop everything that we have, so we only rely on him. So what, and they're sort of like, Poops is saying the same sort of thing, that you can't survive without us. So as you can see, as above, so below. So you know, and make no mistake, Satan knows the scriptures probably better than what we do. So think about that in one way. So, you know, basically saying if you are not in this NWO beast system, you will be on the outside and fend for yourself until we come and get you. That's the way it is, because it's only going to be a remnant. It's only going to, for those who are prepared, which is number one, is your spiritual house needs to be prepared. Number one, that's your number one preparation. So if that is not your number one preparation, you can buy as much food as you want. You can, you know, buy as many tents as you want. You can, all that sort of stuff, because basically if you're just buying food and you're preparing and all this sort of stuff, what's your end goal? So your end goal is to be with Yeshua. So that's why you got to get your spiritual house prepared first. That's just, well, I'm speaking to the choir here. It's common sense. But to anyone that's listening in the background that, you know, doesn't come on the chat or anything like that, you know, that, you know, have been watching us for a long time, you know, they're sort of like in between a rock and a hard place, you know, just get your spiritual house in order, because the only way you're going to, because this is a spiritual battle, it's a physical and spiritual. But see, what people don't understand, I'll just put it out there, just a few things on the level of spirituality, that these Luciferians are actually putting spells on people. And we know that COVID is a spell, and you spell that backwards, it's Divok, which is demonic possession, to rip apart, to tear apart, to asunder. And if you have a look at the Victorian, when they come out and blow their BS as usual, it says staying apart keeps us together. Now it's a total contradiction. So what Divok is, to tear apart. Now if you see that when they, especially here, you know, the closing the borders and families can't go and see their kids, or kids can't go and see their family, that's part of the Divok spell. So this is what they want to do, brother. Just tear everyone apart. So therefore the only way you're going to survive this, the only way, and it's still hard. It's still hard for very strong believers too. Of course, you know, you get hit from left field and asymmetrically and the like. So as you can see, they're doing this on such a multi-layered system, and that's why people are so confused. So get your spiritual house in order, be prudent as well. You know, and I know there's a lot of people living by themselves that are struggling to pay rent. You know, you have a look at the inflation rate, and you have a look at your interest payments on your account, which are basically zero, which you're not earning anything because they don't want you to earn anything. So you know, it's
Growler,
been paid on.
Can I remind you and everybody that the little old lady in the Bible who gave the tiny little bit that she could, because she did it from her heart, not because she had to give. That she gave more than all of those rich men that threw their money in to try and buy their way into the kingdom. But she gave out of the well of her heart, and those two mites would have became, you know, there was also another old woman who her flour never ran out and her oil never ran out. Elijah visited her, do you remember? So this is where our hope must come from, as I said to you this morning. Where does their hope come from? Those who just are just relying on self, or they're relying on this government. Now, I'm on a Facebook page, like one of these group ones, whatever you call. I'm not sure how it works, but the group one, and they're trying to fight for justice, and we can overturn this law, and we can do it this way and that way. And look, they've really got good intentions. That's what I can say. But they need to understand who their enemy is. And that's what this has been all about, isn't it? Been trying to understand who our enemy is.
Yeah. And The thing is, you get people say, "Oh, vote for this party, vote for that party, or do this, vote for them. They can overturn it." So that just doesn't work, because we all know that there's no hope in man. There is no hope in man at
Exactly.
all. No one's going to turn it around for you. And it says in Revelation that power was given over to the beast. So the thing is, this power was allowed. It was allowed by our Father. And there is nothing you can say about it. If he's given that power, it's nothing you can do.
But it's
Nothing you
working
can
for
do.
the good of the people who are on the fence,
Absolutely.
because
That's right.
they're going to have to realise they're going to have to make this decision.
Yeah.
And
exactly right.
yeah, there's no turning back. If you run to them for help, you're going to die.
Yeah. That's right.
Now,
So
we have had quite a few comments saying that, no, you should stand up. Not now, not today, but people need to stand up. People need to not revolt, but people need to stand up. Well, the thing is, if you would have spent 10 minutes in Melbourne, even now, you'll know that there is no standing up against these super soldiers, these stormtroopers. There's not. And if you do, you will get shot and you will be made a spectacle of. Look, I'd be fine with that, but I'm not down there. And I wouldn't really want to, go out on the 9 o'clock news. So,
no.
But yeah, so it is really difficult. We can't stand up against this time, because the tyranny, the tyrannical government isn't a government. It's run by a fallen angel system. And the fallen angel system is in control. It's in control of the people who have been doing their bidding, shedding their blood for them, and they are at the stage now they do not care that humanity has exposed them. And that's what they had to do anyway. They had to show humanity their hand. They have to show everybody what they're doing.
Right.
And then by doing that, guys, see, nobody has an excuse. Nobody can say, I wasn't shown, because they've actually shown people over and over. And that was the MK Ultra in the movies, your news, everything is to program to make you not feel after a while. You become numb to it, because the amount of fear that they keep feeding into everybody daily, then you just go, no, I can't worry about it. You see how they work? I can't worry about it. It's too hard. So I'll just forget about it. I'll go over here and I'll sink myself into my business, or I'll sink myself into a bottle, or I'll sink myself into a needle or whatever. So that's what they wanted, and that's how that's how Satan did this. It was quite simple. He divided from within. And but I just mute for a sec.
Right. It's gone. Sorry.
It's gone. But I could never understand the scripture that said that in the end times that mother would be divided against, everybody divided against everybody in their own house. I could never get how it was going to get that bad that your own family would turn on you. And because if usually a family, if they've been all raised together, most of them will be Christian. If you've got 4 or 5 siblings, probably three out of 5 might be Christian. So it just never made sense. But that scripture now is being fulfilled. Totally prophetic. That
absolutely.
This thing that people don't want to do, because we have a free choice over our bodies. And well, we don't anymore, but we used to. But these people who are telling us we have to do it are our loved ones, our family and our friends, ostracizing us because we've made a calculated, even scientific, if you want to, decision on why not to take this. And if anybody, you go to the Stu Peters show and see Dr. Carrie Majek's last video where she did the testing, and I think we talked about this last week, but I'll say it again. So, and you will see what they're putting in this stuff. It doesn't take, you just need to anything that they're pushing, like, it just amazes me. This country was also anti. Oh, we've got to vote. Oh, they're all the same. They're all, and they hated the government here in Australia. We weren't left and right here. Every Aussie didn't like the government. Nobody on average. And now they're all running to them for their solution. And it's just what you were saying, Growler. They're running to man for their solution. Come over here, we'll feed you, clothe you, and give you this medicine until you drop off. Then we don't have to worry about you in a minute. So that's good. Next. Now, and we were talking today, I don't know if you brought it up because I went away for a minute, about the PILLs that they're producing now, the little tabbies. Let's call them little tabbies. The PILLs. Yeah, they're producing them that we've just found out. Well, Messi and I just found that out today. And apparently you already knew. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
now,
I didn't know when it was coming in there. Yeah.
Well, we'll just fill them in. These are also only for people who have been VC'd to be able to take these things.
That's right.
So they're not, and it's I can't even say the names of these things on here because this is why I just want to stay away from it. But they're just saying it's another health cure thing to go with your VC is a PILL, and this is going to go on and on and on and on forever. That's what they want. They just want it to never end with the pills, the vaxes, the patches, you name it, everything.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, exactly right.
It's very frustrating, and we know that, but it just can't keep going. It just cannot. Right. And this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Is Yeshua? He's coming back. Father is going to crack that sky and say, "Go, my son, go down and rescue him." Now, listen, we look. Yeah, we could be dead when that happens. I don't know, Growler. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because the minute we step out of this body, we're going to not be here. That's what I know. I know we're not going to be here, and I just take care with your stuff as much as you can. This side of it, guys. This side of the veil. Give it to give him your hatred, give him your anger, give him your ego, give him everything that you know in your spirit's holding you back. Because I think more than ever now, people must be more spiritually aware now than ever. I honestly believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because when the angel went across the earth yelling out the gospel for the last 10 or so years, maybe even since 2001, that so many have heard the call and come over. But in the last 5 years, the spirituality has intensified. The rate of being able to comprehend the spiritual, I should say, aspect of our world has just absolutely exploded. And that can only be one thing. That can only come from a supernatural source. And he doesn't want us to be fumbling around in the dark. So for anybody new out there, he's not left you on your own. He's not just saying just wait, but he's saying wait, but he's saying I want you to prepare as well.
I think we might have lost Beck there for a second. Sorry there, guys. I'll just quickly take over or fill in. Now, I just want to thank Chirps91. I met you on Aya. Thank you for everything that you've said. And I'm sorry to hear that your whole family's gone against you.
My phone went flat.
Oh, her phone went flat. She's just told me.
Just tell them I'll listen to you for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Sit here.
Okay, then. Yeah, so I got Beck's sister sitting here pointing at me, telling me what to say, so I better say what she tells me to. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, so I just want to say a big thanks to Chirps and for Chirps91.
Is Chris still in the waiting?
I don't know. I can't see it. Don't know. I don't think so.
No, he was waiting in the background.
Okay.
You just have to ask Jack.
Oh, okay. Is Chris waiting in the background there, Jakey? Just let us know if you can just pop it down there. That'd be good. And yeah, we'll get him on. But yeah, as I said, sorry about that, guys. I've got about 2 different things going. But yeah, so I just wanted to say a big hi to Chirps 91, and can people please pray for Chirps 91? That'd be greatly appreciated. It really would. But Louise G said it is the precursor for the mark. No, do not take it. It has nanotech. No. Okay. Louise G, this is just my view. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but this is what I've come up with. If it has luciferase and the black goo in it, what they can do with that sort of stuff is yeah, it can evict the Holy Spirit big time if you put that stuff in you. We do believe that it is the mark 100%, and I will constantly push that, and it is the mark. That's the way it is, and I will never ever go back on that because, as we know, it's got the nanotech, it's got the luciferase graphene oxide, and but the real bad graphene, the AIGO in it, and whatever else they've got in it. And I think people have seen Dr. Carey's videos on BitChute, I think it was. I mean, if you've got that shit growing in you, that's not a good day. It really isn't, and that's Nephilim crap, and that's the last thing you need. Yeah, so Chirps, yeah, I hope you're going well. Thank you very much for your input. I just wanted to, I didn't really want to go into too much today. I just, you know, what I've presented, you know, just further go through it and educate yourself on that, because there'll be things you find that I haven't found, and you can educate me, and vice versa. So I think it's very important for us to bounce off each other, because we're all singing the same song here. And the more we can edify each other, and the more that we can you know, bounce off each other, I think that's very, very important. And we are all here for each other, because there's not many of us. There's not many of us around, that's for sure, because most of them are all in the indoctrination centres by their so-called Masonic pastors. And that's one thing that I'm very, very blessed to have been avoided, and to have that voice come into me saying, get out of the churches, get out of the churches. Most of them are all taking eating oranges now, so that just basically goes to show you know, what's happening. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to of course the few people here, Data Junkie, your grouse, you really are, and True Tube, thanks for coming in, and again Chirps 91, thank you very much. I's channel is great. She really points out a lot of changes that have happened in the Bible. I'm not sure, maybe anyone on the chat can help me with this one here. You know how it says be wise as a serpent? It should be saying be wiser than a serpent. You don't want to be a serpent. Like I don't think sort of wise. You know what I think you know what I'm trying to say, but be wiser than a serpent and gentler as a dove. That's I've sort of like put that one together, that it might be that's another change in the Bible as well. So I urge people to go over to Aya's Aya News, EYA News, and her name's Kat, and she's very, very good in picking out the Mandela effect and all the Bible changes. So she does a great job there. Trixie Andrews, you're doing awesome, Trixie. So you just keep doing what you're doing, and we love you very much. And hope everything's going well for you, sis. Just let us know how you're going, what's happening in New South. Now, just quickly, Glad Bags down in New South, the Premier, which is, I call a swear word, is a Premier. Yeah, everyone, oh, she went through the corruption, and oh yeah, she she's not there anymore, and someone new's coming in. It's just even a worse puppet coming in to read from the same script. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. These people are all his dad, Dominic Perrottet. He's a traditional Catholic, and he's linked to Opus Dei. So, and his father, John Perrottet, is actually one of the bigwigs in the World Bank. So, I mean, I don't have to say anymore. As I've said in other streams, that the World Bank, the central banks and Big Pharma, they're the ones paying these people to push their agenda. So be very, don't believe any of them. Don't believe any of them. All men are liars. God isn't a liar. Yeshua's not a liar.
That's
the Holy
right.
Spirit doesn't lie. That's just the way it is. So if you stick to that, you cannot go off. You cannot go off the path. So, and I bet he'll probably come out and say, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then he starts winning the hearts, and then he crushes them again. So he was brought to account in a corruption probe. I think it was an $90 million corruption probe back in 2013 or 2014. I mean, most of the info's there. So, go and look it up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, Catholicism is, and now I'm not taking anything away from the normal Catholic people. They're lovely people, and a lot of them love Jesus. They do a lot of great work, and a lot of them, couldn't are saved. But it's the hierarchy at the top, the Antichrist church. So I feel sorry for the poor lovely people that are being deceived. I really do, and but it's big bastards like this Perrottet that lead these poor people
It's all
astray.
the same. It's all the same.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that Anthony Dickinson has just made a comment. There is no way possible it could be the mark. It isn't time yet. I'm just interested in to find out why you think that, Anthony. As you know, everybody deserves a platform. And why do you think it's not the time? And Grace also mentioned that she didn't think it was, where is the beast? It's to worship the beast. Where is the beast? Well, the beast is a monetary system as well, and the beast is a system. So the beast is here. The beast is here, and you will be part of that system once they put an active ingredient into you. You become a part of that system that you can no longer ever get out of. And to me, if that's not a mark, and these people are also doing this because they want to keep their jobs. So that's a mark of reverence to the money. And the Father said, you cannot worship Mammon and him. You can't serve two masters. So the beast is here. The beast is AI. The beast is the money. But everybody is waiting for the incarnation of the Antichrist. Everybody's waiting for a physical incarnation of a man, which very possibly could happen. It might not, because the beast is already here. So knowing the way that I understand it, in my mind, is that I'm not waiting for the beast to come, because the beast is here, and the beast is being put into my friends and my family, and I am not partaking in the beast system, which means I won't be able to buy, sell, nor trade very soon. So I can't see how it could be anything else. So I'm just interested to hear what Grace and Anthony are very much agreeing on the fact that it's not. But if it's not the time now, it's never been a time before where we've been in a position to be able to have technologically pulled off this anyway, because it's a technological marvel what is happening. Just to be able to track everybody everywhere is an amazing feat, and could never have come until now. So there's too many other things that also we can't dispute have come to pass. I think the scrolls open, the little scroll that was told to be shut until the end of time, and the revealing is here. So the word apocalypse, all it means, guys, is the revealing. It's a revelation. That's what the revelation of Jesus Christ was. But I don't know if that was in order. Nobody does. We weren't there. You can listen to any man say anything, but you have to read these things under the influence of the Holy Spirit to be able to know, and then he will reveal it to you. But we will never know. Look, we know the times now. I think that if people don't think this is the tribulation, like you've got your pre-trib believers who say, no, we're not in tribulation. Well, I think we're past that, because we've never had the whole world shut down before. And, you know, we're talking Nelly, or it may as well be, because our country's completely disintegrated in a matter of a year. So I'm thinking that there is, whether it be, even if you considered it not the mark, wouldn't you consider it a poison? Even if not, wouldn't you consider it to be something that you should not have? It's a personal choice, obviously, but knowing that they've never been there to help us, but only to rob from us. It's another form of robbery, but this robbery this time is the highest. This is the highest level, because they're robbing your soul. They're robbing your soul, not robbing your pocket anymore. They're finished with your pocket. Your pockets are no longer useful for them. They don't need money. It's power. So I just can't get my head around, and any preacher, pastor that says, it's okay, don't worry, it's a precursor. Okay, well, are you going to guarantee me with your life? Well, you can't guarantee me with your life, because your life doesn't replace mine. If you're wrong, well, if these people are wrong and I'm right, they're in big trouble. If I'm right and they're wrong, they're in big. If I'm right and they're wrong, this is it. This is where it's at. We need to ask ourselves some very, very, the most serious questions you've ever asked yourself in the history of your whole life. You need to be asking yourself now. And I just can't see that anybody would, anybody that's on these channels that you guys considering, or not considering doing it, but even denying that it could be is dangerous. It's dangerous for you. It's dangerous for you, not me. But I just wanted to put that out there, because I'm really straightforward, but I'm not being opinionated or telling you guys what to think, as you know. So I just don't want anybody going over the edge who has heard my voice saying, please don't do that. Please don't believe these people that tell you it's okay. Okay? They are being, anybody that's doing that is either ignorant or there's something in it for them. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're just ignorant.
I mean, if you go, like I said, you go into Dr. Carey's videos and that sort of thing, you know, what they're putting in that, and then, you know, that's hooked up to, you know, quantum computing and blockchain and all that. They can do whatever they want with you. So they can, raise the God gene. Everyone knows about fun vax and all this sort of stuff. So as we've discussed quite a few times, I mean, these oranges, I think, can be programmed to do 1,000 different things. You know, things that no one would even dream up of, or you know, anything that, you know, we haven't put our fingers on yet. I mean, that's enough. That's enough to scare you. So, I mean, once you put GO, the real GO that's in it, you know, you're just. I mean, technically,
you're at its mercy, man. You're at its mercy.
Yep, it will.
There's no getting it out of your body. You can't just have a blood transfusion. So I don't know why you'd even risk anything to do with this whatsoever at all.
Yeah. Well, I think as I'm not saying about anyone in here, but as I've seen on other platforms that, they think that, how would I put it? Oh, maybe it isn't. Oh, maybe it isn't. So, they're lulling
I have
themselves
to
into a false,
interject.
they
Oh,
lull themselves into a false sense of security, because they're starting
okay.
to make excuses for themselves.
And this is one that we've come up with a lot. Grace has said, an angel declares the mark. Okay, Grace. For the last, now everybody, a lot of people on this channel will vouch for this, that we've all come to an awakening within the last 7 to 4 years. Most of us are a 4-year, a revival, not a revival, an awakening 4 years ago. But I do believe it started with those 2 buildings. However, an angel declares the mark. It's been done. That's why we all woke up at the same time out of our slumber. There was never been an awakening like this. Only the fake church ones, only the false Toronto blessings and things like that. There was never a spiritual awake that the world we know as in history has ever seen, as in these last 10 years. And that is because it is the appointed time is here. The appointed time is here. The angel did fly. It did. Do you think if there was a physical angel flying, Grace, in the heavens and every eye could see it, nobody would take the mark?
That's right.
Nobody.
No one would take it.
No. And then but then, Grace, we are deceived into the whole world was deceived to take the mark. Now, deception comes because you didn't see it. You didn't see that it was deception. Now, the angel has already flown. It has already flown.
That's right. It
already.
It's a spiritual awakening. And as I've said to you, sis, and I'll say to a few, to the chat here.
That's right. I'm sorry. Sorry to buckle you off again, Data Junkie, because my chat's a bit behind. Data Junkie says the Bible does not say an angel declares the mark. It says an angel declares the gospel. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
That is right. Thank you for clarifying that. That angel went out declaring the gospel, and all of us who woke up from our slumber, whether we've been lukewarm or we got born again for the first time, that was when the call went out. And he was preaching the everlasting gospel, and those of us that went, yes, Father, rose our head and lifted, we've walked on. But there was a lot of people that didn't hear, and there was a lot of people that heard it that are still denying it. They're saying, no, that it hasn't happened. So you're absolutely right, Data Junkie. He doesn't declare the mark. He declares the gospel throughout the earth. And yes, it's happened. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all right. And I think I've said I think everyone knows here, because I was in a lot of pain and I was on a crap load of opiates. And, I was on them for a long time. I was on them. I was upwards of 400, 3-4 packets of Endone a day and 7 Valium and 2,000 milligrams of Lyrica, and all in one day. And then I realized I was really in the shit. I really was. I thought, how in the hell do I get back from this? That's when I was in Melbourne and I was talking to you, and you know my story, and
I do,
and I thought the only way, and I said this to myself, and I said it out loud, but it wasn't loud. I said, if I don't get off this, I'll get Mark of the Beast and I'll be in a methadone clinic. And that was in 2019. I woke up in 2017. I didn't know that the Mark of the Beast was coming, but I had to go cold turkey off everything from 1 minute to the next, because I had a moment of clarity or something. And I said to myself, if I don't get off this, I'll get Mark of the Beast. And this was before the pandemic came and everything. I didn't know it was coming. I had no idea, but I happened to say that, and I thought, if I don't get off all my crap that I was on, I'm going to get mark of the beast because I'm going to have to rely on the system, and I'll be too far
Yes.
gone. And that just
Yes.
put just scared the crap out of me.
Yes.
And I didn't know it was coming. It's funny how I said it,
No.
you know.
We didn't know it
And
was coming when we
no,
met.
no, that's
No.
right. And this
But we
was
knew something was.
yeah, that's right. So that was in 2019, around May, June, that I said that.
Mm.
And that was in 2019. I said, if I don't get off this, I'll end up getting mark of the beast because I have to rely on the system. So it just came out, and I don't know why. And then, hey, look, presto, here we are. And I didn't know that. I just really didn't know that this was going to happen. And as I said, I should have died. I'd be, I'd pop about 15, 20 endones at a time. And, as I was driving, and I didn't have any worries. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm fine. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, everything's, and but then comes the crash. And that was just hell. I should have died. I should have died the last 3 years, and then getting off it, I went cold turkey, and should have died because it was just so horrific. So, but all I'm saying is, how did I know? How did I know that this was going to happen? How?
You didn't. The
I
spirit
didn't.
knew.
That's
the
right.
spirit warned you.
That's
and
right.
you were warned. And somebody says they think the angel hasn't flown yet. That's fine. I mean, we're not here to say we're right and you're wrong. It really, it's just that we're going by what's manifested in the world in the last few years, and we all know what that is. And we can't get away from it because now we're living it every day. So if we're not living in a different time, a new reset or whatever, where are we then? How can we keep going? How do we move past this point when they're saying to us here, they're saying to us in the straight next to me that they cannot work again if they do not get it. That to me is mandatory. That to me is, you cannot buy, sell, nor trade without it. Now, I realise that if you guys were saying this to me and it wasn't happening here, I might think the same, but I think I'd be looking at it coming to a town near you very shortly, because this will go worldwide. They have different plans for the United States of America. We know that. They've got different plans than this country. But this, to be mandatory and told that you cannot go to work without it, please tell that poor guy it's not mandatory then. Tell him that that's not something evil that they're forcing to put inside of him so he can do his job, so he can go and do his job, but then he's plugged into that system. We've done it ourselves. We've done the Wi-Fi. We've done the Bluetooth on these people. It works, guys. Why, if you guys that doubt, why would they be, are you going to say there's a prototype for the system? Is that a prototype? Is that a precursor prototype to
Is
be...
there a prototype in Revelation? Is there a precursor in Revelation? Last thing I
there
read,
is
it
not.
wasn't. No, I thought not.
No, there is not a precursor, because otherwise, when the real thing, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Father would never have allowed that. So they said, now we spoke about this yesterday, they said MasterCard, BBB, which was the bank card here, it was 3 Bs, 666. And they said that was the mark of the beast. Now, I was saved back then. I knew very well it wasn't. I was mature enough in the word, even as a young Christian. After a few years, I was still mature enough in the word to know that all these Christians running around in my hometown saying, it's the mark, it's the mark. I was, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. You can still go to work. You still can buy what you need. You don't have to have that card to be able to live. So we were way off. And then all the different theories that came along the way, Satan loved those. He absolutely laughed at every single Christian who went, oh, the mark of the beast, this is it. Oh, this is it, this is it. Because all it did was set it up for a fall now so that nobody, hopefully not many, would believe the truth of something that you have to participate in society with. Has to be that and nothing else. It has to be that. And I'm firm, I'm standing my ground, and I know that's the right thing to do. And wouldn't it be the wrong thing to do to not be sure and lead people down? You better just say nothing at all if you're going to tell people that it's okay, because
there's another way to put it. There's another way to put it. Now, if you've seen what's happened since they started all this, you have a look at the lockdowns, you have a look at the everyone losing everything they've got, all that, and they're injecting all this, and you know what's in the juice. Do you think we're still in? Does that sound like an age of grace to you? No age of grace. I mean, the world is just. I mean, it was bad enough even in the age of grace, but let alone now. I wouldn't call this an age of grace. I really wouldn't. You can't call this an age of grace in what we're in now. You know, that's maybe, you know, put it simply. If you think we're in an age of grace now, I just don't think that is. I just really don't think we are. It gives me 100% confirmation that we are not in the age of grace. No way, not with this crap being, not with so many oranges hitting people now, and how they're doing things and taking things out. So like I said, it's you know, they're gonna hit all the work sectors. They're going to do all this. They're yeah, they've got to, how would I put it? They've got to actually go through sector. Then they say, okay, no suit for you, no suit for you, no suit for you, no suit for you. And then once they get all that done, then they go to the economy. So as I said, it's a phased operation. It just all doesn't happen at once. It's stupid. You've got to have the infrastructure in place. You really do. But just quickly as well, a few people have been saying, oh, they're building camps, and you know, you have a look at Well Camp and what they're doing in Western Australia and that sort of thing. They are for tourists coming in to quarantine and in and out. Okay. Now I did do a live stream. I think it's about 5-6 live streams. That isn't where they're going to put the people who don't eat oranges. Okay. Now, if you let's say in Australia, I'm calling Australia, you have a look at immigration detention facilities all within Australia. You have a look at Christmas Island, all this sort of stuff. That is where they're going to put people. Okay, because they're the same things as FEMA camps. The same company built them, all this sort of stuff. Have a look at Christmas Island. Most of them are all empty. They've all been upgraded by Serco. That's where they're going to put people. Okay, so when they say quarantine camps and that sort of thing, they're telling you that they're going to put you in them, but they're giving you a false one. When you have a look at the quarantine camps, they've got ovens, they've got toilets, they've got everything. I mean, they're not going to give you that luxury. You're going to be in a full security immigration detention facility, especially the ones here in Australia that are already empty. Okay, so that's where they're going to put you if you get caught.
That's right.
This is
okay. So, yeah. I just need to have a bit of a chat. We've got a little bit of a problem going on in the chat, guys. Look, please don't argue. That's honestly, Satan is the author of confusion. We all know that, and obviously there must be some sort of interpretation difference here or something. Okay, that's fine, but you know, calling people, saying get out Satan and that, please don't speak like that in my channel. We just need, you know, a bit of calm here at the moment. And Baba, no, I don't think Growler meant that. That nobody can be saved now. He didn't mean it like that.
That's why people are getting saved in the Great Tribulation. They're getting saved in tribulation. They're all getting saved in the Great Tribulation. You know, this is what I'm saying. I mean, you know, let's say Yeshua's coming in 5 minutes, you can still get saved within that 4 minutes. Okay, so it doesn't matter. You know, so the age of grace is over, but you can still get saved. But you know, as what's happening now, it's a lot harder because people are losing so much. That's what they're focused on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, everybody's on edge and everybody's sort of dealing with their own stuff behind closed doors. So just remember to pray for each other, guys. That's all we got to do. Pray for each other, because we're all going to be led into some sort of deception, tried to be led into some sort of deception in these last moments, I tell you, because it's coming from every angle. It's just not stopping. And you all must be feeling this. So it's all, nobody should be arguing. If bots are causing arguing, no, they're not bots. These are actually people who have been with us for a while. But it just seems, you know, a little bit of this is where the doctrinal law is so hard to be able, you can't enforce this is the way it is, definitely. You know, there are scriptures you can say that about, of course. But with timelines and that, guys, we're all guessing it. But we just know one thing. To say this at the end of this, I'm going to wrap this up because I never wanted it to go like this. But I want to say one thing. If there is something that you doubt, you're not sure of, and that could cause you harm, would you tell your little baby girl or your little baby boy to do that if you did not know it will cause them harm? And so at the end of the day, it is our job, if we know, if we've been given information that hasn't been privy to you, and we know that this is nefarious, it's Luciferian, I don't care what you want to call it, and it wouldn't matter. You shouldn't do this for your own benefit. That's it, for your own benefit. And that saves all arguments. Let's not argue about the time we're in, because we know we're at the end of something, and hopefully the beginning of something beautiful for those who love him. So why are we arguing about it this close to getting on that side of it? What there's definitely shouldn't be arguments about it as we're getting this close to it. Okay, so we need to all pull together in unity, because who does the enemy want to destroy? He only wants to destroy one body of people. All people, yes, but he's not too worried about those blind ones. That's why he just wants to run them off the cliff. It's us he cares about, because we are sitting back, working things out, trying to speak to people, figure out things. You guys, you're the only ones in your family, most of you, that know the truth. Consider yourselves blessed. Consider yourselves holy. Consider yourselves sanctified, because not everybody's getting this message. So please, let's go forth and do the right thing with it. And we don't have to package it nicely with a bow on it. We don't. We need to, we need to be telling these people what it is.
Yeah, that's
boldly.
right.
Boldly,
Yeah,
without
that's
fear
right.
of persecution, without fear of persecution. And
I
yes,
will
if
pull no
persecution
punches.
comes, well, that's it.
Yeah, I will
If
pull no
persecution
punches.
comes, it's all part of it. If
Yep.
persecution came, it's part of it. And that's what us putting our head on the chopping block this whole time. And the last thing that would just grieve my heart would be for people to come on here, what we did to bring people together, for them to become disconnected. So we love you all. Seriously, there is no problem, and we are just giving you what we've been told, and it has been given to us as something that we must pass on. It's kind of like the Olympic torch. They only run with it for so far. They have to pass that torch on. And if you don't, you will be accountable at the end of it. And
right.
I mean, I could be doing something else right now. I could be at the beach, actually. I'm not in lockdown yet. So, but I'm here. I mean, we just try to give you solid, good advice that I think that anybody would sort of think is a good thing. I would hope. So I'm gonna end this here, darling. Yeah. I thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. We love you all.
Yeah,
and
thanks, Anne.
And I'll just say a prayer. Father in heaven, in the name of Yeshua, please, any confusion and disconnection, please, in the name of Yeshua, I pray against it. I pray the bonds of slavery, the bonds of persecution be broken off all of us, that we unite under the one army, the army of you, Father, your army. Father, let us be strong. Show us how to encourage each other every day. Show us how to search these matters out, and how we can, you Holy Spirit, are the only one that can give us answers. So show us those answers. Strengthen us. Show us how to stop drinking the milk of the word and how we can eat the meat, and prove all things through 2 or more witnesses to those who ask you questions. Please confirm your word through 2 or more witnesses. But I say, Satan, you take your hands off my family. This is my family. In Yeshua's name, you must leave. You must leave in Yeshua's name. You must go in Yeshua's name. You must. So I thank you, Father, for every blessing you've given us. I will continue to thank you no matter what happens, because I know it is only you who can guide me. It is only you who can save me. It is only you that I get anything good, any food for my spirit. It is only you where it comes from. So I know from where my help comes. Please, Father, just don't leave us. I know you said you never will leave us or forsake us. So let us know that you are there. Just give us a little bit of that. Unfortunately, we need a little bit of physical comfort in our heads sometimes to know that it's real. Give everyone each according to what they need in their spirits to get them through this last time. And let not one more be lost, Father. If it be possible, call in the number of your people to be closed. In Yeshua's name, I pray for you all. Thank you. So be it. So be it. So be it. So I just thought it was good anyway today. I really enjoyed myself. I enjoyed what you were talking about. Thank you for your information as always. And I hope everybody likes a little bit of a different twist on it this morning because
it's great.
I want to do that again, and the next one I want to it'll be a little bit longer because I only went for over a half an hour, so I might go a little bit longer next time, a bit more in depth with but I'm going to do my own research. I'm not just going to show you other people's work, because I don't believe that's work. So all right. Well, we love you all. Thank you, everybody, so much. Everybody, we still got 68. Thank you so much. And just if you're not sure about something, like I just said in that prayer, guys, ask for confirmation. 2 or more times, 2 or 3 times, ask for the confirmation. You'll get it. You'll get it. So wherever you are in the world, we love you, and I hope you honestly have a really good night. We really do. And is that all you wanted to say, my brother?
My brother. It's I didn't see what really happened in the chat, so I'll go through that a bit later.
I only caught the end of it, but it was enough, and I just wanted to stop anything.
No, that's fine. And as I said,
it's not what we're about here. It's not what it's happening.
That's right. And but I just want to say a big thank you to Anne for being our greatest mod here, and thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you, Anne.
I back you up 100% at all times. You know that. And that's the way it would always be. And a big hi to Chirps. I want to say hi to Chirps 91. Welcome again, and thank you so much for everything you've done. Effed Up World, please go over. He's going live in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes.
Joe knows his stuff. He is the man on what he does. So please, everyone, go over. Go over and show some love and jump into his live stream. We love Joe dearly. He's just a legend and a soldier. So we'd love all of you, Southern Mercy and Davey, Southern Mercy and Davey 313, and Robin. Thank you, Robin. Love you, mate. Really do. Dupsy Daisy, Grace. Thank you, Grace. Eric Dunaway, Ann Pearson, Yars Child, Michael, Joshua Lewis. Thanks, mate. Dwayne Glower, you are grouse, and everyone else. I want to say a big thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what a good night we've had. I've enjoyed it. And thank you to Sherps91. You're a new viewer. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed your comments there. You're full of positivity. It's really good to see. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Grumpy Troll, hey Grumpy, how are you? Drop a link. What do you want the link for, Grumpy? Oh yeah, Messy's on that. And as you said, Anne is just okay, Grace. Okay, Grace.
Awesome.
I'm sorry. No, Grace, I'm sorry, mate. You can't talk about the mods like that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
No one.
And there's no sorry though,
like
but
that.
nobody. No. So
and you're 100% on.
We're trying to be happy here, and I know the world's dark enough without bringing it to our beautiful house. So we love you all. We'll get out of here.
Thanks.
And until next week, or keep an eye out for our walk talk videos. We may do one or two of those during the week.
Yeah.
And
we'll call you soon, Anne. We'll call you soon, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll hope that you sleep well, all of you. Okay. Grace, peace be to you. Grace, peace be to you.
Absolutely.
Rest easy. All right. No worries.
Thanks, guys. We love you
Take care.
So much.
And we are out.
Yeah. you.